Can we start, Mr. Govindarajan?
Please.
Mr. Uday?
Please.
Mr. Uday, are you ready? We can start.
Okay. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, yes, we can.
We can. Okay, wonderful. Good evening, everyone. This is Saraswati, Secretary General, Madras Chamber of Commerce, and happy to have all of you here for this interesting and important session on the dangerous goods. Thanks to Mr. Govindarajan, who had been kind enough to join us today and offer this talk. And in fact, we had a similar program many years back, maybe 5-6 years back, and happy to have it again with the new rules and requirements, because we feel it is dangerous not to know the rules. So that's why we are here. And I'll stop here. I will only make a very, very sincere request, since there are a number of participants. Participant number is more than 200 now, and it is increasing. So request all of you, as you join, please keep your audio and video muted. Otherwise, it might become difficult for the person who delivers, as well as the bandwidth would become hit. Thank you once again. I will now request Mr. Uday Bhaskar Reddy, Chairman of the Expert Committee of MCCA Logistic Expert Committee, to give the welcome remarks. Over to you, Uday.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, Sri Govindarajan, our mentor, our guide, our spirit in handling a danger.
Your voice is little feeble, Mr. Uday, and you are muted now. Yeah.
I'm sorry, my apologies. Thank you, ma'am, for giving this opening remarks. Personal greetings to Sri Govindarajan. Thank you for sparing your time for this valuable session. Our mentor, our guide, and our spirit in handling and carrying and dealing with dangerous goods. On behalf of Madras Chamber and on behalf of Logistics Committee, we are happy to give this program to our members, who are 600 plus in number, consisting of mostly manufacturing companies who handle goods day in, day out, who transport goods day in, day out in all forms, be it surface, be it rail, or be it air, who also warehouse goods post-production or once it is imported for their own consumption, either by way of raw material or by way of finished good product. Now, when the recent announcement by Bureau of Indian Standards came about their notification on the procedures or the handling SOPs, standard operating procedures, which need to be followed in all the areas which I had listed, we only thought it fit that we should address this for the benefit of our members through an expert, through a knowledgeable person who has been breathing about this subject almost for a couple of decades now in his lifespan. I don't want to say throughout his lifetime, almost in a couple of decades of his lifetime. That's when our logistics committee's mentor, Sri Krishnan, suggested we do this program. It will benefit most of our members. And that has translated in, as Saraswati ma'am said, the number of participants we are having for this program. With these few words, I would like to share a few thoughts on these dangerous goods, which the topic, even though it's going to be addressed for surface transport, I'm sure all of us are aware Sri Govindarajan is an expert in all modes of transport with regards to movement of goods which are dangerous in nature. But the huge or the thin line of difference, unlike the air mode or the sea mode, which are governed by certain international conventions, which prescribe certain practices, which are diligently followed by the carriers, be it the airline or the steamer company. But unlike, as I mentioned, these two conventions or the international bodies, the domestic transportation of goods or warehousing or storage of goods are extensively covered by Indian government's regulations. So that is where the Bureau of Indian Standards have stepped in and given this new guidelines or a revised guideline by way of rules from the 2011 base rules which they had issued earlier. See, there are a lot of things if you go and see how the various states have promulgated their own procedures and steps to handle transportation of goods based on Government of India's regulations. For example, if you take Telangana government, they are talking about educating the drivers. They're talking about minimum training period before carrying of goods. They are talking about certain protocols to be followed by the operator and the owner of the transport company, if it's a transport. The same applies for a warehouse operator. The same applies to a factory which is holding. So respective states have identified based on these rules promulgated by Government of India, the importance and the necessity of following all these in letter and spirit. So there lies, if I may say, the highest level of safety protocol which needs to be followed. There lies the essence of not giving any kind of room to create a catastrophe or create a huge damage to whatever the material can cause. So these are serious in nature. These can have impacts which can be cascading not only to the place or the mode or the location, but to the environment per se, to the human lives per se, and to the ecosystem in total. So with this small background, with this opening remarks, I only want to request all of you to concentrate in full without any disturbance from your mobiles or without any disturbance from your office or home, wherever you are. Because the only thing which we see in this virtual session is once your video is off, we don't know what you're doing. So we're not blaming anyone here, but the importance of the subject is what I wanted to drive across. So with these few opening remarks, I allow Sri Krishnan to introduce Sri Govindarajan, our talent and the knowledge person for today. Krishnan sir, you're muted.
Thank you, Ms. Saraswati. Thank you, Uday. A very good evening, first of all, to Guru Govindarajan. A task can be extremely difficult or an extremely easy task. But for somebody who has known Govindarajan for little more than 40 years, asking me to introduce Govindarajan is a challenge of a
Sir, you are muted. Sir?
Yes, sir. Sir, your voice is not coming.
Yeah, it is a rather challenging task that how do you introduce your brother? I find it very, very difficult. That's been the relationship that we have enjoyed with each other. Start with a simple thing that is happening right now. Just before the program, I was checking with MCCI how much of interest has this program really generated, because this program has been advertised all India, pan-India, and if I am correct, Govindarajan, it has also gone beyond the shores of India. And I am told that we have something upwards of 450 people who have interested to participate in this program. And I am sure of this 450 registration, at least 449 know Govindarajan already. So that being the challenge, asking me to introduce Govindarajan in itself is a rather extremely challenging task. Be that as it may, I shall, for the benefit of whoever, because every morning when we sing our stotras and we do the prayers, we say the same thing over and over again, but yet it gives us immense pleasure saying it again and again. It is in that spirit of a stotra that I wish to introduce Sri Govindarajan. Mr. Govindarajan has just under little more than 50 years in the air cargo industry. He started off his career as a load master in a non-scheduled operator. To be very precisely, it was a newspaper, The Hindu. And then he switched over to Air India, where he has served in various capacities. And very, very notable among them was he was the chief instructor with Air India Staff College and also the manager regulatory compliance. And when he was with Air India, he was also a member of the International Air Transport Association, IATA Dangerous Goods Training Task Force. No mean achievement by itself, being very, very few Indians who are privileged to have gone up to the board level. In 2008, Govind started his own consultancy firm called Tirwin Management Training and Consulting, specializing in logistics. And from there, it has been always a success. And any challenge, any issue with logistics, not necessarily air logistics, if you want to have a straightforward, no-nonsense opinion and a helping hand, it is none other than Govindarajan, who is available to every one of us. That has been his reach, that has been his popularity, and that has been his humanity. He is so humble that no question is too silly for him to answer, and no person is too small for him to address. He carries you along, he teaches you along the way, and makes you sure. And Govind's aim is, let us have a compliant industry. It is towards this compliance, the very nature, the spirit of this program is, let us spread this message of compliance. He is also a columnist in the print media. And last but not the least, he is a member of the Aviation Advisory Panel set up by the Director General of Civil Aviation in New Delhi. But then, being a student of literature, I need to touch some literary aspect before I complete my thing. In literature, when something is beyond compare, we are given an example. When a poet sets about to write about the rose, he starts off, a rose. He pauses. He doesn't have an answer. And he continues, is a rose. Again, he pauses. He doesn't answer. He doesn't have an answer. He says, is a rose. A rose is a rose is a rose. When I have to talk about Govind the Guru, I have to say Govind the Guru is a guru, is a guru. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to present Shri Bhashyam Govindarajan to all of you. Thank you very much.
Saraswati?
Yes, Mr. Vedra. Start.
Good afternoon, every one of you who are online now. Whether it is in the morning or afternoon or night, it is always nice to hear good things about self. So the year is, I have been blessed to hear good things from Uday and Krishna. The fact remains, we are, myself and Krishna, he was telling brother, yes, for more than 40 decades of friendship. Thank you, Krishna. Thank you, Uday. Thank you, Saraswati, for making it happen this afternoon. Saraswati made a remark that 4 years back, 4 or 5 years back, we had a similar session, which raised a lot of enthusiasm. So I asked myself, what was that issue? When did I speak? It's very interesting. It was when ammonium nitrate had a problem in Lebanon. Immediately we found there was a surgical audit in all the ports in India, and we could see around 700 tons of ammonium nitrate lying in some corner of the country. We had similar session where we brought a lot of international speakers on that. The idea of doing all these things is basically to create an awareness. We don't have great solutions for each and every problem. But once you create the awareness, automatically, the rest of the things take place. So in this context, I'm going to talk to you about the new ground transportation requirements which have been introduced by the BIS, Bureau of Indian Standards. Before actually going into the BIS new requirements, I thought you can touch upon some background.
Sorry, sir. Jaya, see if you can mute to everyone.
Yes, sir.
As a host, you can mute everyone. Please mute everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, will do so.
all
Sorry,
other than
sorry.
him.
The definition of dangerous goods continues to be same, irrespective of the mode of transport. Thus, the dangerous goods or articles are substances which are capable of posing a risk to life, property, and environment. Same definition. As far as the definition is concerned, there's no problem. Then where is the problem in the mode of transport? Everybody knows that the air mode demands more restrictive actions because we believe when we carry dangerous goods in 40,000 feet altitude, if something were to happen, the chances of survival is zero. So let's be very alert. Let us be very vigilant. That is inborn. It's in the DNA of the people. And when we do that, the regulations are generally made for all modes of transport by a common identity called United Nations. They don't call it as regulations. They call it as recommendations. The recommendations have been made for air, sea, road, rail by United Nations. And each of the mode of operators adopts it. And they are in a position to feed it also for the requirements so that the regulation serves the meaningful purpose. Jaya, can you change it? So what India has done, India permits transportation of dangerous goods by all modes of transport subject to meeting the regulatory requirements, whether it is air or sea or road or rail. But among the four, where we are truly comfortable, not because I come from a longer aviation background, I would always say that aviation transportation, air transportation has truly matured because the regulations have been structured very well long time back. As a matter of fact, I went for the basic training of the dangerous goods regulation. Those days it was called the restricted articles regulations. In 1979, how many years are old? In 1979, Air Mode had a structured training program which gave reasonable amount of knowledge for us to understand the nature of the commodity, how to be safe with that. Nobody says don't carry the dangerous goods. He says how to safely transport dangerous goods by air. So in 1979, I had my first training. And as a matter of fact, I still remember my instructor was from Lufthansa, from a German carrier. Then the country developed resources, the country developed training framework and all those things. You ask me, who is really doing this part in aviation? Jaya? It is the, Jaya, can you switch it? Can you go for the next?
One minute, sir.
So it is the Director General of Civil Aviation who does it. The Director General of Civil Aviation is representing the aviation But when they do, the country has fully adopted the watchdog of international civil aviation, the ICAOs. ICAO talks through what you call it as Annex 18 technical instruction. There's a book, the technical instruction. The technical instruction has been fully adopted by the government of India under an act, 2 rules, and various civil aviation requirements. Please change it. The act is Aircraft Act 1934. To update you on this, the Aircraft Act 1934 is getting a new name quite soon. It may be called as Aircraft Bill 2023. From childhood, we know Aircraft Act 1934. And there is a process which is in progress to give a new title called Aircraft Bill 2023. Of course, once that gets passed in the parliament, we will have the exact act. To support that act, we have got the rules. That is the Aircraft Rules 1937. It is there for quite a long time. But real sense of dangerous goods regulations was felt only in 2001, after, to be very precise, the Twin Tower attack in USA. When that happened, it was felt that there should be a focused dangerous goods regulations in our country. So the government of India brought a specific rules called Aircraft Carriage of Dangerous Goods 2003. For its seamless implementation, they brought in civil aviation requirements in the case of dangerous goods training, surveillance audit, provisions for finding the, after completion of the audit, if there were to be some shortfalls, how to penalize or how to bring in some sort of stricter action. For everything there are civil aviation requirements. Since we have structured the aviation law for so many days, it may be very interesting for you to know, we carry so much of dangerous goods by air. Till today, we never had an accident to report in India. It's a big achievement. There are some incidents happening here and there. Somewhere cargo started giving some fumes or cargo started giving a little bit of fire. Probably it's possible. But till today, India, to the best of my knowledge and ability, it has not witnessed even one accident, air-related accident, because of the carriage of dangerous goods. I will not say we are 101% perfect, but we are far, far superior as far as the airline transportation is concerned because of a well-constructed, well-defined regulatory framework. The basic framework which is required is trade. Merely creating awareness may not be sufficient. We have to make them. We have to make the stakeholders to understand. So we created an approval framework for training. Government of India created an approval framework for training in 2001, much prior to 2003, Aircraft Carriage of Dangerous Goods from 2003. Today, we are on the threshold of getting into competency-based training and assessment. As a matter of fact, we should have adopted on 1st January 2023. But we had reasons to discuss, deliberate, understand the characteristics or understand the unique nature, some factors that used to be considered for India. And the process is on, almost it is completed. Most probably from 1st October 2023, we will have the competency-based training framework fully adopted in India. And this has helped us to provide training for every chain in the supply chain. As far as the airline is concerned, everybody involved or in a position to be provided with training. So in air mode, these are the things which we have achieved. Yeah. The oversight audit programs are true success. Probably many of your shippers, many of the freight forwarders, many of the people who are in the packing and handling of dangerous goods might not have seen a DGCA auditor stepping into your office. Some of you in the last 6 months or 8 months, you would have had somebody coming from DGCA office to inspect. The investigation framework has been done well, so that when they come, what is the role of you in the supply chain? Accordingly, the investigations are done. If something is not done correctly, even though there are penal provisions for non-compliance currently, the provisions are not implemented, but some sort of teaching or some sort of creating an awareness so that people do in a better way. To understand the challenges and proceed further, DGCA has constituted a regulatory advisory panel exclusively for dangerous goods, and they have drawn few people across the industry to be in the panel, and I'm one of them right now. Jaya, next. For shippers who wants the approvals for carriage of dangerous goods, earlier time we used to write a letter, we used to write emails, we used to wait for answers. But today, we'll all be very happy to upload your applications and get the approvals or get the feedback, get the shortfall notice in a matter of hours. It's a very big program, and this is done. Outreach programs are done, online approvals are done, and I'm sure the shippers who are participating today will be knowing that today they are in a position to get many of the approvals online from DGCA. Yeah. Now I come to the seaboard. As far as seaboard is concerned, is there any regulation? Yes, there are regulations. Sea also is adopting the United Model Regulations, but that is done by IMO, International Maritime Organization. In India, it is adopted by Directorate General of Shipping, equivalent of DGCA. They have adopted the IMDG fully and fairly. But some challenges are there because there are no supporting strong national regulations as we have got for air. That is one of the reasons you will find when you like to move dangerous goods by sea, you will have varied opinions, wild interpretations given by the steamer companies and all those things. And it does not, as a matter of fact, if you see the India with such a long coastal area, very few ports are in a position to handle dangerous goods also. So wherever I speak, I tell them, it is highly important now we must have a national legislation for sea transportation as we have got for air transportation. But if you ask me, is there a structure? Yes, it is there. That's called the IMDG codes. But implementation has got certain challenges because of lack of really defined national regulations on that. Next, please, there. But they have got a very good system on testing of packages mandated. Shipping, Director of Shipping has introduced circulars, but sometimes it helps because of the wild interpretation that becomes a challenge also for the ultimate shippers. Some ports don't handle dangerous goods. We say we have got a lot of ports, but the thing is some ports, they say, no, we cannot handle this dangerous goods. So sometimes the dangerous goods have to move from one corner of the country to another corner of the country. Some ports handle dangerous goods, but they say, no, we don't handle explosives. We don't handle this. So we need to push up in that area by bringing some sort of national regulatory framework which gives the people the feel of security so that they are in a position to handle it. Jaya, next. What about the rail? In India, rail is a very interesting concept. The regulator, the operator, the user, everybody is one. That's the Indian Railways. So if you use rail, it's more structured, and that is called a red tariff. And that takes care of primarily tankers. Primarily tankers. So they have a structured regulation, but it is no operator implemented. Everything by the regulator and operator, namely the Indian tankers. So having dealt with or having had a reasonable understanding of the three modes of transport, let us now move to the let us now move to the surface. Jaya. As I told you, the regulator and the operator is Indian Railways, so they have a reasonably structured one, but primarily only for the transportation of big tankers. Go to the next one, please. Now we come to the road. If we go back to the history, Indian road regulations were primarily made by what you call it as Indian Road Congress. But Indian Road Congress focused more on the roads, the bridges, the tunnels, but not the goods that are placed on the vehicle. Then subsequently what happened? The Forest and Environment Ministry brought some sort of regulations, rules, which were primarily looking at it from the environmental issues of storage, carriage, and all those things. More focused on environment. So this deficiency of carriage regulations was always spoken in every forum. When Uday was telling that the state government has got, Telangana government has got, they work in tandem with the Indian government regulations, fair enough. This road transport is actually in our concurrent list. When you have something in concurrent list, it's good, it's bad, because sometimes it may have conflicts. Sometimes the implementation could be a challenge. Sometimes there may not be harmonization of rules and regulations. So if you ask one vehicle to pass through from here to Hyderabad, first it has to get into Andhra Pradesh, another state regulations. Then it has to go to Telangana. That means more states I have to cover, more states of their regulations I have to cover. There is not much of harmonization. So this want of harmonization or clarity in regulation was always spoken everywhere. If you take a slightest, one simple example which you would have seen every day when you travel on road, some of the oil tankers, that the petroleum products tankers of even state-owned marketing companies, you will find an hazard communication, highly inflammable. Same product, same company, another vehicle will say highly flammable. So the guy who is looking at both the trucks will get actually confused. What do you mean by inflammable? What do you mean by flammable? Even this hazard communication, we never had any harmonization. A simplest example. So there was always a need to tell, we need something to bang on. We need something to work on. We need a something platform. Unfortunately, now one guidelines has come. Is it the final of it? I will not say. Because it's only guidelines. It's not a regulation. How legally tenable for implementation? Who is going to implement? What will be the challenges in implementation? Everything is a big issue. But anyhow, the first step has been taken. The first step is the Bureau of Indian Standards bringing out, I will not say regulations, I will not say rules, guidelines. JNS. So as I told you, first the Ministry of Environment had. Still that document is there. I won't say that document was revoked or anything. The document is still there. Next one, please. The Bureau of Indian Standards has got out a book, what a small regulation, guidelines, titled as 18149/2023. It is on transportation of dangerous goods. Even though these guidelines are coming, seldom it is spoken so far. Probably some chambers might have spoken. I don't want to say nobody has spoken. The fact remains, according to me, it's the MCCA which has first started. Thank you, MCCA, for it. Next, please. The guideline is the first benchmark activity for handling of transportation of dangerous goods across the country. This is to be aligned with the ADR. ADR, see what happened. United Nations gives the recommendations. Air mode, ICAO adopts it. ICAO call it as technical instructions. IMO adopts it and it calls it as IMDG code for sea transportation. Rail adopts it. Every member state, every country, their railway regulations are proclaimed. Road is adopted by every member state, and every member state has to develop their own road regulations. But if you look at US. US has got a structure called US DOT, United States Department of Transport. They have developed a system for road transportation, well-defined system. Some other countries also have got. But those countries have taken clue from what is happening in Europe. Because if you see, the inter-country road transportation is very much on the high side in Europe. So Europe regulations are called ADR. ADR is a typical European requirement. But what happened, Asian countries, many of the countries, when they have to bring in their regulations, instead of reinventing the wheel, they adopted the ADR and they have done little bit of tweaking, little bit of adjustment to the local requirements. This is what exactly we wanted to do it for India for years. Because in our country, since it is in the concurrent list, you will find no harmonization in transportation regulations. So the ADR is if ADR is to be considered as a basic document, it becomes easy for you to adopt it and bring it to you as a national legislation or national requirement. Bureau of Indian Standard Guidelines attempt to do it. When they attempt to do it, they also fall on the other regulations of ICAO, IMDG, everything. So probably this is the first list or first guidance has come. As it settles down, I'm sure there will be more debate, more discussions, and people will find out what is best. People will say what are the challenges. So there will be an opportunity to further fine-tune it. Next, please, here. Here, like any other regulations, it is the consignor or the consignee who is responsible for the compliance. In other words, in airline terminology or in IMDG terminology, we will always say it is the shipper who is responsible for everything. Shipper is responsible for classification, packing, marking, labeling, documentation, everything shipper is responsible. Handling, it is only the carrier will be responsible. In road transportation, sometimes the shipper himself may be the carrier also because he may be providing the transportation also. The shipper is responsible for the entire process of dangerous goods from end-to-end transportation. Here there is a beautiful tweak which has happened. What is that? The consignor or shipper should have a place of business in the state. If no person in the state satisfies this requirement, the consignee of the goods assumes the duties of the consignee. Very interesting. I was trying to understand why this particular requirement has come. I have got a consignment from a foreign country, from a shipper to a consignee in a far off place from a metro city where the goods have landed by air or where the goods have come by ship. Then what happens? The ultimate destination is shown an inland place. The surface transportation is taking place within my country. The surface transportation is organized by whoever it is, but sir should be the customs broker or whomever we call it, whatever may be the Incoterms, that's a different issue. But at that time, what happens? Somebody has to assume the absolute responsibility for the safe transportation of dangerous goods by road in our country. So see the beauty, they say the consignee wherever he is, he assumes the responsibility. And when the consignor acts on behalf of a third party, a letter should inform the consignor in writing that dangerous goods are involved. Whenever there are third parties involved, everybody in the system should know there are dangerous goods. This particular 14.1 of the guidelines makes us to think. We have to think of a process. If you are going to pick up the cargo from gateway point, and if you are going to take it by road, we must clearly define who is going to be truly responsible for the leg of the gateway point to the ultimate consignee address. Next, please. Packing and tag provision. This is also coming to the shipper. Whether it is going to be in packages or it is going to be tank, we are going to follow the tank provisions or IBCs. That is to be done by the shipper. And there they have made a simple reference saying that it should meet with this chapter 6 of UN Model Regulations. This is what I was telling other groups. Some of the people involved. No, we have to define it. What is, because everybody in the supply chain in my country are not going to definitely go and read chapter 6 and confirm what is in it. We have to bring it as a, this is what exactly I'm telling. We have to bring it as a national framework. We cannot just leave it to an international framework. Go to the next one, please. Jaya. Marking and labeling is exactly like other modes. Here, every alpha character in the marking should be minimum of 12 millimeter. It's a UN regulations requirement only. It's not something different. Except for packages which has got 30 liters capacity or 30 kilograms net mass. That is, if the package size comes accordingly, can be done, but minimum should be 12 millimeter height should be there. So whenever you have got dangerous goods moving either in small packages or in IBCs or in tankers provisions are slightly different. The marking should be visible, marking should be readable, marking should be legible, marking should be durable, and it should be minimum of 12 millimeter height. Next, Jaya. They have developed a good shipper's declaration, which gives lot of information as a documentation. Unlike the other shipper's declaration, here it talks about just not like that emergency response or anything, who should be called. There are provisions. It is, as a matter of fact, in the screen, you see only 20% of the shipper's declaration. It's a long one. It has got a lot of information. You have to provide a lot of information regarding the route, regarding the contents, regarding the safety norms which are required in case of anything happening, so that the driver or so that the operator is the carrier, I would say the carrier is fully conversant with what is the requirement and he is in a position to do it. It's a good shippers declaration they have made, reasonably big. It provides a lot of information. There is a provision to go for EDP, electronic versions of it. So those of you are moving goods, because nowadays if you are going to move dangerous goods from point A to point B on surface, there's no structured shippers declaration. So there is going to be a 100%, there's a 100% compliant shippers declaration form. It can be downloaded, it should be prepared. And to prepare, people should be trained and all those things we'll talk in the next slide. JNS, please. As far as the general marking and all those things are concerned of small packages, it is the same thing. But there is a provision to put the UN number, if you could see, 2024. In air mode, you will not put this. You do not have it. In sea mode, you will have. In road mode, the same principle is adopted. Even your UN number that comes on the label for you. Yes, please. It's the hazard communication. The thing is, unlike small packages, if you are going to send tankers, the tankers may be fitted on a truck, or it may be an ISO tanker placed on a truck. There should be communication on the outside of the tankers, talking about everything of the cargo, what is inside. A technical name should be there, your number should be there, ASCAM code should be there. Who to be called in an emergency should be there. This should be the size of the letters, size of the information, everything is different. So that the vehicle should have all those information and the paint color, so that you know in which color you have to put it. That is a big achievement, but at the same time, if the dangerous goods are going in FCL, let's take an example, it's not going in tankers, it's all small packages. It's going in an FCL or a 20 feet container or a 40 feet container, and you are loaded on a trailer or on a truck. Then this type of hazard communication should not be. There should be placards, which I will talk to you. Next, please. They have also given where what symbol should come. What should be the size of this is for big vehicles. We can have permanently painted. Naturally, if you have got Indian oil tankers going or chemical big tankers are going, they can permanently paint everything. There will be a problem. If the tanker is going to be used after the cleaning and burgeoning, if you are going to use it for another material, the whole stuff is to be changed. If it is a regular material, it's possible. If it is going to be a changing material, that is 2 or 3 trips, it has made one particular material, and afterwards, I'm going to use the tanker for something else, some other chemical. What's going to happen? We have to replace the whole thing. So there is a provision for replacing placards for all this. That is, you will be in a position to replace the placards. That's not an issue. But we have to follow the same color, same design, everything. Panels positions are to be maintained in the same way. Next, please. It's a specimen which hydrogen peroxide solutions. What is the 2 hazards sitting there? And what is ASCAM code? UN number. In case of emergency, police or dial. Yeah, you can even provide a 24 hours your emergency response telephone number also. And the name of the consignor. Why they ask the name of the consignor instead of the name of the consignor? Again, I go back to the responsibility lies with the shipper. Because in till the goods reaches safely. They fix the responsibility. That the consignee is there, but the person who has put the load on the vehicle is a consignor. So consignor name should be there. We can put in emergency dial, police or fire brigade, we can put even the 24 hours emergency response number. That's a very good provision. We have to start working on it. The industry has to start working on it. If you have registered with your emails with the MCCI, whatever comes, I'll try to share with them so that for the benefit of the community, they can shoot a mail to you all, what's a new thing, how it can be done, who is doing what, how people are adopting it. So some sort of educative information I can certainly provide to MCCI, and the MCCI in turn can send it to you all. Yes, please. If it is coming in two sides, how to do? Hazard communication, 20 millimeter square primary hazard, and another one is 50 millimeter prime square hazard. That is how it is to be done. They have shown certain specimens on it with the two sub-risk. First one was single sub-risk. Go to the next one, please. The question came whether you can have GPS. Yes. As a matter of fact, they recommend GPS. When they recommend, they have also given some sort of layout. How can you have it done and all those things? Because without GPS, we are not going to have surface transportation in future, because everybody is looking for GPS, radio frequency identification and all those things. The provision has been done. If you are having your own vehicles, please go through it and accordingly commission those equipment on the vehicles. It's not something very difficult. Only thing is that I try to define so that there is some sort of this risk mitigation in case of something happens, how it can come. So it has been done. Basically, they are adopting the UN model regulations and the IMDG. Next, please. Training has been given a focus because road transportation training, if you really look at it, even now who is transporting an explosives from Vardhanagar, for example, they get a piece of approval, they get, they say the trainer, the driver has been trained and all this, but if we really ask, do you have a structured provision? No. So training should be important to individuals, classifying of dangerous goods, packing, marking and labeling, transportation documents, who are going to accept, who are going to carry, who are going to store, who are going to secure it, who are all directly involved in the transportation of the goods. Here there is, I will not say no clarity at all. They say this is to be done. But to what extent the training should be done? Who should be trained? What should be the educational qualification of the person who can handle it? How is he going to be trained? How the assessment is going to be trained? How the certification is going to be given? In what frequency he has to do the training? Considering the size of the organization, how many people should be trained? This type of clarifications are certainly missing. There is a passing remark. The passing remark says Central Motor Vehicles rules, and RTOs can guide them the training. Then it goes for wild interpretation. Everybody will interpret as they want. An RTO will interpret in his way, another RTO will interpret. Then what will happen? The industry will have more challenge. Show me the face, show me the rule. I will show you the rule. That concept will come. Then people will be, in my opinion, I was thinking of it, don't you think it is nice to allow everybody to do what they want, but they are serious about what they are doing? Very good, fair enough, that's excellent. But will we achieve the desired goal of it? There should be some sort of clear statements, clear guidelines. Who, how, when, that should be there as far as training is concerned. But guideline 12.2 makes a simple statement. Here, another important thing which I saw in the entire guidelines is everywhere it is used should. We all know in regulations, should is may. Should is always considered to be may. And shall is considered to be must. Had they used the word shall, probably it would have brought a little bit more seriousness of the issue. But here again, if I make shall, just making shall is not sufficient. I have to give the framework. How are you going to do it? So probably some discussion, some deliberation should take place to make certain areas a little bit stringent, so that everybody in there may be a truck operator who is alone. He has got only his truck. He may not be in a position to get the rightful training even. How are we going to facilitate him to get the training? There may be a small company which has got 2 trucks and 4 crew members. We can just tell him, you should have trained, but how he will do the training? Will he have the internal resources, or there will be third-party training? If the third-party training are going to be there, what is the qualification of the third-party training? How are we going to train them? Yes, we can say, sir, Motor Vehicles Act has got some relevance, some remarks. That remarks again gets diluted when each one tries to interpret very well. This is where I will always say, air has got a very structured training. Whoever it is, you do like this, you do like this. It becomes easier. Yes, please. Driver's training has been told, even the central motor vehicles rules and the regional transport officers for driving vehicle carrying dangerous goods should get the license endorsed. If he is going to get, yes, there are drivers who are getting the license endorsed fit for or qualified to carry dangerous goods. But on what basis? What is the training? Because that is very crucial. They have to come out, and here also they are making a passing remark to be in line with curriculum given by CMVR, right? But the structure is still a little bit weak. The curriculum is there, he should know this, he should know this. But if you see his minimum educational qualification and the curriculum, sometimes it doesn't match also. Some sort of serious thought should be given. Hopefully, in few days' time, it will come. Next, please. They are trying to introduce what you call it as dangerous goods safety advices. This is a beautiful concept. This concept first came in United Kingdom. UK was the first one to start the DGSA. What is this DGSA? Everybody who handled dangerous goods, every organization, when you say everybody, every organization who has got dangerous goods, either to carry, either to manufacture and dispatch, whatever it is, he is involved in the supply chain. They must have qualified DGSA. They must have somebody in the organization who is a dangerous goods safety advisor. If the company is not big enough to have a dedicated DGSA, they can certainly have a DGSA outsourced on a contractual basis. There is a contract framework. After the UK introduced, now it is very phenomenal in Europe. And after, as a matter of fact, when it was before coming to Europe itself, some people normally, we follow the US regulations, or others will be asked to follow. But in this case, even USA went on DGSA. There are a lot of qualified DGSA in USA. Who are they? They become a certified advisors for companies. And this remark has been made here. See what happened, successfully possible specified examination as recommended by the competent authority. Question is, who is the competent authority for this particular issue? So it's a beautiful concept. We have to work on it. Big companies should have DGSA. And hopefully, we have to bring in system to have the DGSA. And when we have DGSA, because why the DGSA has been brought in here, this is the area and the European rule. So the DGSA has come. It's a very good concept, but the thing is, It will certainly bring discipline, it will certainly bring knowledge, but the framework is to be developed. Hopefully, we try to talk about it, we try to debate on it. So the right ears hear it, and there should be some solution for it. Next, please. Inspection of dangerous goods vehicle has been rightly brought in. The main culprit in many of the dangerous goods accidents. I have put the picture exclusively for it. I did a little bit of a research on it. The main culprit in any of the road accidents involving dangerous goods is the life of the tires, or the condition of the tires. That's why when I got this picture, I said, let me put that, because the condition of the tire is not all that good. That creates a problem. The vehicle turns or something, then there is a fight. The consequences are because of the vehicle condition. So vehicle conditions, not only the tires or the wheel assemblies, the axles, they have been done. And the certification has been stringently made. The disbursement of loading has been brought. Some mandatory equipments which are to be in the vehicle has been defined. So it's a very good move, but effective implementation is to be seen. It will be that we have started. So there should be certainly some movement. Next, please. And they have developed the role of authorities also, very interesting. As a matter of fact, PWD, highway, toll plaza, everywhere what they should do when the dangerous goods vehicle, how they should facilitate. For example, if the road condition is not good, transportation of dangerous goods is a big problem. So they have brought in certain national highway authorities. They are given some sort of, you must ensure like this, local police should be informed when the goods are going, certain goods, not all goods, certain goods are going. The local health authorities should be told this is going. That means we have to precisely plan also. There will be a portal quite soon with this. I'm sure there will be a portal. People put it and the information is pushed, and the information will be there to all stakeholders in the end route also. The role of authorities have been defined, and I don't expect everything to happen overnight, but the fact remains there is something going on in that direction, and we will see some good improvement in the road transport. Next, please. Incidents and accidents report has been brought in. When accident takes place, it comes in the media. Somebody dies. Some people are admitted in hospital. Sometimes the state governments have to rush to give relief. So all these things get attention. But incidents, many occasions it is put under the carpet. What they call it as incidents is a happening is an incident. In a simple definition, an accident. Incident is a happening. Then what is an accident? When an incident results in loss of life, hospitalization, or loss of property, then it becomes accident. There's a very good system of incidents and accidents reporting in here. See, also it is there, but we do hear sometimes they are not even reported. You might have read in many occasions in the newspapers or something. Some shipping line takes some dangerous goods which he found to be dangerous on board, puts it on the IC and sail away. Of course, we hear that, and it doesn't come in a systematic method of reporting so that the authorities globally are in a position to take corrective actions. As far as the road incidents are concerned, they don't normally, they get reported, I'm not saying, but it is watched and taken cognizance of. It is not reported. That is, somebody is not reporting, I took a vehicle, it went like this, it happened like this, like that. So, guideline 9.3.1 talks about the incidents and accidents reported. Here again, if you see the word, they have used the word should instead of shall or must. So that there is always, I understand, BS cannot give the legislation part of it. That is one of the reasons why they are giving it a sheet like this. Next, please. Another beautiful requirement they have made it. Records of all these things, carriage records, cargo records, declaration or incident or accident, well, everything should be retained for a given period. Generally in air it is only 90 days, 3 months. But here they have gone a little bit beyond. Certain transport documents, just 3 months as in the case of other modes of transport. Emergency response information, period of use, till it reaches the decision. Training record, duration of employment plus 1 year. That is over is on the trade. Annual report of the DGSA, that is Dangerous Safety Advisor, for 5 years. Vehicle certification, period of use that RTO gives. Tank certification, period of use. This matrix, what they have given, is really interesting. Start looking at it. If you are a regular user of ground transportation, you have to keep the documents separately. All this information, that retention of records, because if an incident takes place or an accident takes place, maybe after a few months, if they are investigating it, the first thing any regulatory authorities will ask is the records. And at that time, you cannot say the record is here. So another important issue that you may have to look at it is the retention. Yes, please. There is the first document, in my opinion, I do not want to be a pessimist. I want to tell you it's a good document. But can I be settled with this document? Probably not. I strongly believe there are certain issues. They ought to be attended to. The missing ones, the missing issues. It should be fully get organized to ADR. Unless otherwise, see, for example, in ADR, we'll talk about tunnel movements. To great extent, we don't have such tunnels. So we can little bit be moderate there, which we don't directly have an experience. We can look at it in a different way. But a lot of missing ones are there. So there should be we should cover all the missing ones. If we have to cover all the missing ones, it is absolutely necessary. We must have a national legislation. If there is no national legislation, implementation will be anybody's guess. Interpretation will be anybody's guess. Implementation will go for it. We need a national legislation to support, but at the same time, they are consciously aware surface transportation is the concurrent list. It has got a national touch, it has got a federal state touch. So the state jurisdiction, the state's participation should get aligned to national legislation. It should be fine-tuned. It should be done very carefully. There should not be conflict of interest. There should not be ego, whatever it is. It should be done very seriously in a manner that it is quite harmonized and people are in a position to follow it. And there is maybe, my recommendation is always to bring an implementation authority. Let's not have a generic statement of saying RTO will do. Yes, RTO will do what? It's going to be a specialized subject of dangerous goods. That is, he must have a fair knowledge about the dangerous goods part of it also. Nothing wrong, an RTO, but that there should be a designated person. His job is to breathe everything of dangerous goods transportation. There should be an implementation authority. Merely implement, how can you have a good implementation authority, functioning implement authority with a very good surveillance audit framework? That is, we must be in a position, not after the incident takes place or anything, a regular checks on the dangerous goods part of it. He is not going to check other things about your job and also dangerous goods. That should be a surveillance audit inspection. create an awareness, and after some time when the market settles down, there should be a good penal framework for non-compliance. Then only a lot of things will come to shape. Things will move in the right direction. Next one, please. So, for a safe and secure transportation of dangerous goods by road, all stakeholders must know the roles, responsibilities, and exhibit their commitments to follow the regulations. I strongly believe you cannot implement anything and everything if people are not aware of what is to be done. So the first step towards that goal is creating greater awareness of the new requirements. And thank you, MCC, for your efforts in making it known. It's only a first step. We will continue to move through various forums so that people come to know of the roles, the responsibilities, and they prepare themselves and confirm there's a safe and secure transportation of dangerous goods by road. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Govindarajan. That's an excellent presentation. Can I request Mr. Uday Bhaskar Reddy to probably coordinate for the Q&A? There are some questions in the chat box. We can first take them. Is it okay, Mr. Uday?
Yes. Please go ahead.
Okay. So Uday?
Sir, you can unmute.
Yes, now I'm able to.
You can start. Okay,
Yes,
Mr. Uday.
now I'm able to. Yes.
Sorry about it.
No problem.
You can read out the question, Mr. Uday.
Video is not coming, ma'am. Still, it is locked.
Can we unmute the video also? Both Ashwin and Uday? Jaya?
Madam, actually, I'm not able to only, he has to do by himself.
No, it's saying you cannot start the video because host has stopped.
Sir, we've done it. You can go ahead
Can
and.
you just check now, sir?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Participants, sorry for the pause. The video and audio was locked by our secretary that no one should access it. I was the one who told them to lock it. Thank you, sir. Thank you for elucidative session. It was nice. Now, the subtle differences in what we need to follow was very clearly told by you. There are certain people who have asked on different modes of transport. I'm going to pick them up and address it for your reply to those participants. Of what we have kind of put in the chat box is what we're going to take now. So we will see as the time goes how many we can take. Okay, there are so many of them in the video. I'm just taking. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Shri Govindarajan, I will take the first one. One pertinent question from GG Rao. Who's the certifying authority for DGSA? Shri Govindarajan.
DGSA today there is, that's what I was telling you, it's a United Nations, I'm sorry, it is a UK establishment. In UK, they are given, they conduct the classroom training. After the classroom training, you have to take an examination. As on today, it is only in UK, even USA gets the UK only. But I was told when these regulations came in, Indian government will adopt it. Quite soon you should have the authority, quite soon you should have the syllabus, and quite soon they will have a provision for DGSA. Yes, the next question.
Yeah, I'm going through because I'm not addressing everything. There is someone who's asking from the food industry, but not a question, it's more observation. Policies on transportation of live goods like oysters, crab through air mode to reach destination in 3 or 4 days is there. But when it comes to dangerous goods and live product transportation, there is not a clear policy, is what he's saying. Mr. Shankar.
No, there is, it is, I will not say it is a policy. As far as livestock is concerned, in air, we have got a system of the first available flight, book and all those things. When it comes to life-saving drugs and all those things, there's a clear understanding between the operator, that is the airline, and the shipper to understand what is the commodity, how long it will sustain and all those things. The airline per se commits, can they carry it on that day or not? They can deliver it within the due time. That is how many of the life-saving drugs and medicines and everything are going on. So there should be a two-way communication. That is, the shipper should clearly say what he wants, and the operator, the airline, should clearly say whether it can be done. And it's happening. That is how it is. But there is no, I won't say there's a policy or commitment or regulations, because this is between an operator and the shipper. Of course, the middleman, namely the freight forwarder, has got a greater role to play.
Mr.
Yes.
Shankar, hope you have got the answer. There are some directions which you can get used to. Next
Because
one.
let me tell you, the airline will not say, I will ensure to deliver it the day after tomorrow by 20 hours or something. No, they are assuming a great responsibility. Then what happened that particular day, whether flight did not operate itself, he will be put. So that is why they have kept it. Many of the things, when there is no clear-cut direction, means everybody wants to protect themselves. And I appreciate it also, nothing wrong with it. Good.
Thank you, sir. Next one is from Alimuddin AS. What about the storage of dangerous goods? What sort of registration is required?
Okay, as far as the storage of dangerous goods is concerned, if you are going to have explosives, you must have PISO approvals, PISO's directions in Nagpur. They have got the authority. They have got regional offices in Chennai and everywhere. Every place they have got for explosives. For radioactive material, AERB approval is required. For all other dangerous goods, they're like a flammable liquid or a poison or anything. Local government regulations and the Ministry of Environmental Hazards requirements are to be followed.
Thank you, sir. I will club the questions of Ponmani Deepan and Hemant Kumar. They're asking about, can we get training on IMDG? That's the first part. And then how can we check the provisions for dangerous goods, whether we can export or not?
Whether we can export or not. Okay. Yeah. There are two issues. Let us take it. IMDG training, yes, it can be done. It is now done on online also, even by us. There are a lot of people doing it. And we also do the classroom training. Now we come to the whether a commodity can be exported. It should be looked in two directions. One is from the safety angle, another one is the country's regulations like customs and all this. That part you have to go to the import-export provisions, whether it can be exported or not, that's a different issue. From the safety part of it, your technical instructions or the dangerous goods regulations will say whether it is forbidden or not. If it is forbidden, it cannot be carried.
Perfect. Hope both have been answered, gentlemen. Moving on to Alimuddin's next question, again to do with the licensing. Apart from the driver license endorsement, even the vehicle is required to have special insurance for carrying dangerous goods.
Exactly.
What happens if there is no endorsement on insurance? I think it's obvious, no claim will be entertained.
No claim will be
yourself,
entertained because no, if you go and say we want to carry dangerous goods, your premium will go up. If it's a good insurance company, he will take it as an opportunity and increase the premium. The most important thing, that the endorsement point and all those things is nice, but the thing is to what extent the driver is aware of the dangerous goods that he is carrying. Poor fellow, he himself doesn't know what he is carrying, what is he sitting on it. So that type of training and awareness is what is going to bring more relief.
This is one is from Mr. Hemant Gwande. For industrial portable LPG cylinder, 19.3 kilos, does a transport vehicle and the transportation of dangerous goods vehicle and the TREM card are necessary?
Strictly speaking, yes. That is what, in my opinion, what he is telling is the gas cylinder fellows who are running across our city. It is required, yes, TREM is also required and it needs a specific approval. And what you find in our trucks or anything is, I always tell the road transportation has got this problem. They will put no smoking or some one word they would have written, nothing beyond that. So it needs, you need it. Strictly speaking, you need it. But is it implemented in your city and my city? It's a big question.
That's what I think he subtly put the question. Industrial portable LPG. I think domestic and industrial, your observation is right. The next question is from Aryan Chakraborty. Is DG Class 1 allowed in any port in India or is it completely banned?
See, I was hearing that in Chennai airport it was accepted. But at the same time, only today somebody told me, sir, no shipping lines is accepting in Chennai airport. So that is, see, main thing which I face problem, since the gentleman is asking on explosives, the main thing in Make in India and all those things is we have got a very, very subtle explosive use in seat fasteners, in airbags, and you know, in Chennai, lot of manufacturing units are there. And in the seat fasteners or in airbags, there is a very small quantum of explosives, which we call it as 1.4 S. I was told even Chennai airport, I know they were accepting it. I have to find out. Probably Uday, you are the best source for it. You can.
Yes, Aryan. We will check and get back, Aryan, independently.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Next is from Karthik. If a dangerous good reaches destination and the shipment is not cleared at the destination for various reasons, whether holding dangerous goods at a warehouse at destination for a long time will draw responsibility on us in India.
There are two issues. Let us take it. When the shipment has gone and the shipment has not been taken delivery,
yes,
there is always a provision. If you take the air portion, it is called the 14 days ARP. If it is a sea provision, there is every country has got a different requirement. If within that period, that cargo is not taken delivery by the consignee, it is the responsibility of the consignor to tell my consignee is not taking delivery. Either you send it back to me or you dispose it off in the manner that you feel fit. That what is to be done. One of the reasons of finding around 750 tons of ammonium nitrate in one of the seaport facility in India is because of that. It was lying there for 5 years. See, there is a concept in those who are familiar with the freight forwarding and the cargo business. Out of sight is 100% pilferage. Out of sight is starting with pilferage, then damage, then loss. So within 15 days, if the goods are not taken delivery, immediate action should be taken. Otherwise, what will happen? Sometimes the demurrage charges will be asked later. So we have to immediately tell whoever is responsible in that area, I do not want the shipment. Either I am taking it back or dispose it off, or I will dispose of. Some action should be taken. But every country has got limitations. Law of limitations, they have got the limitations of number of periods. But whether it's strictly followed depends upon the port to port.
Thank you, sir. One from Mr. Debashish Das. Can insurance be done on all type of dangerous goods?
Yes, it can be done. As a matter of fact, Uday, if you remember, we had a discussion 2 years back when one gentleman from Sundaram Insurance came. He was one of the participants of the discussion. He was in the
Royal Sundaram.
Royal Sundaram. And
Okay.
that time also we raised the question. Yes, it can be done, provided the risk is fully exposed and told to them. And there's no hidden agenda. That is, it is fully told and they can give an insurance. But what will be the premium? All those things are different. But insurance can be provided. Royal Sundaram, he made it very clear on that day also.
There is one question with regards to chemicals being carried on surface in a bulker movement. There are situations when few spillages happen, not the full cargo. Certain amount of, say, 1% spills during the journey. So what is the proactive action the transporter should do in this situation is what is asked.
See, spill can take place because of the improper closing of the outlet,
The container, whatever.
container, whatever it is, or some sort of structural damage to the tank itself, a small perforation or something like that. As far as the spillage is concerned, in a stationary position, if the spillage takes place, immediately spill management is to be done
Okay.
in a stationary position. But if it is in a running position, if it cannot be notified or anything, in a usual inspection, you should go back. You should correct the situation. Because if the vehicle is going on 30 km speed also, every drop that is making, it's going to be
That actually comes under the transporter's liability, as you
Liability.
rightly mentioned.
Yeah.
One last thing covered to the concerning insurance, sir. Again, it's been asked: is it mandatory for taking public liability insurance? They're talking about damage to the ecosystem, as what we were talking about.
that's going to be a big issue also.
Some good practices globally.
Good practices, like especially forget about the dangerous goods part of it. The carbon footprint because of the vehicular movement. So public interest will also be covered. If I'm not mistaken, it's not mandatory today, but it is going to be there, hopefully so.
That sums up with the specific questions, and the rest of it are generic in terms of what can be carried, what cannot be carried. We are not looking at those kind of questions now. Yes, you can always write to the chamber. We will go back to the expert and get back to you. That sums up, ma'am. Krishnan sir, is there anything you want to ask from the panelist? Anyone who wants to ask? No. Saraswati ma'am, you can take over from here.
Uday, I just have 1 minute if I may permit it.
Please go ahead.
Govind, thanks for a wonderful session. There is a request, if somebody has to access these BIS guidelines, is there some place where you can you give us some opinion if somebody wants to download it or something?
In
Can you help us?
In 2 minutes, I will send the link to Jaya. Jaya can send it to everybody else.
Yeah, if
For the
all the
part-
participants can receive the link, at least those
Sure.
who are interested to be to
100%.
download it and read it up thoroughly.
100%. 100%. I will send it right now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Thank you so very much, Mr. Govindarajan. Excellent session. I'm already seeing a lot of feedbacks and thanking notes. If there are no further questions, we can request Mr. Ashwin to propose a note of thanks. Hope all the questions have been covered.
May I have a minute of the time?
Mr. Uday, your choice. And
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Govindarajan.
Please
Can you
allow
identify
Bala,
yourself?
our Bala, Emirates Bala.
Please
Oh,
go
okay.
ahead, sir.
Okay,
Bala.
okay.
First of all, very happy to see my dearest friend Govindarajan across the line.
We would like to see you, sir.
Excellent.
Please unmute the video.
I am unable to unmute the video
No,
because
sorry, my apologies.
yeah, okay. No
Jaya, you
problem.
can do that. Let us not be too rigid about it now.
Okay,
Yeah, ma'am.
I'm trying. Yes, start my video. Okay, first of all, I'm very, very happy to listen to my dearest friend Govindarajan. We both almost joined aviation together. No, he is senior to me. Govinda is senior to me by at least a couple of years, I would think so. And I've been fortunate enough to still be associated with the International Civil Aviation Organization, Dangerous Goods Panel as a senior advisor. And also with IATA Dangerous Goods Board, I was the vice chairman for about 25 years, and I'm still associated. Some of the excellent points which Govindarajan mentioned on DGSA, those are all things which many other countries are not even thinking about. That is where we should be proud as Indians, because DGSA concept, while it started in UK and then went on to Europe in a big way, Govinda, I thought of another point also where Europe alone has got a body which is not full of regulators alone or operators alone. It is a mixture of regulators and operators. You know, they've got a very good body there. That could definitely do. Similarly, Govinda touched upon another point in terms of ADR, which is the road side of it. I was asked to do a bit of a study in about 35 countries in the world. And I could find that hardly 14 countries had road regulations there. So that is another area. It's a huge importance that India is going through, and it has got to be done. And another area where Govindarajan brought up a point is in terms of bringing in definitely very clear regulations for CBTA and also more time for people to do in terms of get familiar with that. That was an excellent point. Another international point is there is a body of the United Nations. There is a body called the GHS. Some of the people may be aware of it. Globally Harmonized Substances. They concentrate on classification and labeling only of chemicals. When they started 14 years back, there was a huge problem because it clashed with the transportation nomenclature, the terminology is used and everything. Finally, the UNECE, along with the United Nations Subcommittee of Experts, were able to convince GHS that GHS body and UNCOE, COE is the people who do the dangerous goods part of it. They do it in Geneva every June and December. So they convinced them that for multimodal benefit, it is not enough if GHS alone works independently, but transportation is a critical part of the world. So they've got to work with the transportation side. So they are working for the past 2 years. That's a very positive development in the world. So if the points which are raised by Govinda is all taken up, and definitely with all those things, India with its aspiration of becoming the third largest economy by 2028, and we talk about 10 million tons by 2030, all these things require all these great visionary sort of steps there. And we will not be beaten by anybody, I can assure you that. Definitely, I've been working with more than about 90 countries there. Definitely, we have got far superior brain power. All we require is a will to implement it and take it forward. So thank you very much for this opportunity. Excellent seeing you once again, Govinda.
You're not seeing me, Bala. I mean,
Sorry?
you are not seeing me. Are you in a position to see me?
Yeah, I'm able to see you very clearly.
Okay, very good.
Yes,
That means
including
that-
your nice beard, I'm able to see you.
Good. See you,
Yeah.
Bala, very
Thank you.
nice of you.
Yeah,
But as far as
definitely.
GHS is concerned, we have, since you raised the topic, it is already implemented. You know, the GHS part is basically for end users. It is
Yes,
not in
exactly.
the supply chain, it is more on the consumption side. It's a
Govinda,
consumer.
precisely that is where they said we will create a set of regulations.
No, that has been, that is
Flash-
done in India for GHS. It is basically for consumer part of it, not for the
Correct.
transportation part of it.
That is why transportation people talk to them, at least do not have anything which will confuse the transportation and consumption part of it. So GHS part, people realized that we should not create any nomenclature or any terminologies which will
No,
confuse.
they
transporting
have
people.
fully adopted the.
Yeah, that's what. 14 years back it started. I was in the committee. Then later on,
I
they
was-
really came to the party, and
Yeah.
they have done the very good coordination there. So a lot of good things are happening. India should be at the forefront, definitely.
Good. Your intentions will come true.
All
Thank
the
you,
best.
Bala. Thank you, Bala Subramanian, sir.
Thanks, Bala.
Most welcome.
Sri Govindarajan sir, there are a lot of people who are asking, we are a startup, we would like to know how to register, we want to transport lithium batteries, how to do.
Oh,
how
lithium
to-
batteries is, it has now at least 8 companies are showing interest in having lithium batteries establishment in and around Chennai.
Chennai.
So probably what we'll do, we will make, you have your database and we will send you some, what has been done on that so that they can understand it. Then they can get in touch with our chamber and
Yep.
we will certainly help them to move forward.
Lovely, sir.
Because
Can-
since they are your contact, in my opinion, they should go directly through you only.
There are people who want to know how to register, how to kind of
Register for what?
No, for as a startup. So they want to know for transportation or for export and for a dangerous goods. Can we ask them to contact your office directly?
Yeah. Please ask them.
Right,
Please.
because
I'll
there
be
are
totally
there are a
delighted.
couple of
You
questions. on
share
that.
my email ID to every one of them so that it becomes easy.
Lovely. Thank you, sir. Ma'am, I'm done.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think we are done for the day for this program, and it is one of the best attended programs, I would say, in the recent past or probably in the last 1 year, especially post-COVID. Thank you so much. That shows the importance of the subject as well as the speaker, I would say. So thank you so very much. So maybe the other questions, if I had missed any, we will see whether we can gather and send it to him. And anything otherwise, if you want to share with people, you can send to us, Mr. Govindarajan. We have all their email ID. So we can provide a link and make them download also. Thank you so much. May I now invite Ashwin Vijay Kumar, the co-chair of the committee, to formally propose the vote of thanks.
Yeah, hi. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Ashwin, can we see you?
1 second, sir. Again, co-host has asked you to start my video.
The host will never mute any of you, don't worry.
That's okay. So yeah, again, after a very insightful presentation, I would now like to present the vote of thanks. Firstly, I would like to thank our chief guest for the day, Sri Govindarajan, who has also been a mentor to me in my career. Small career just started though, but still. Thank you, sir, for taking time out of your busy schedule to educate and give your valuable insights to all our participants. The only presentations whom I've never fallen asleep would be yours and Sri Krishnan. Such is the information that one can expect to receive from your lectures. I would like to thank the participants who have made it today. This has got to be by far the largest online attendance we have had at the Logistics Committee until date. And I'm very excited about that. I'm sure you have received more information than you would have expected coming into the event. And I would also like to inform you that the Chamber has many more events lined up in the coming months, and of which each and everyone would receive an invite from the Chamber. So we look forward to having your attendance for the same. And with that, I wish you all a very good evening and have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you, Ashwin.
Thank you so very much. Special thanks to the chair, co-chair, and Mr. Krishnan, who are the brainchild behind this program. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Wishing
you
a
all.
good evening to everyone.
Thank you, Sri Govindarajan. Thanks.